Hi, everyone, and welcome to Chair Yoga. There's quite a heat wave going on across the nation, I think. So I'm going to do a cooling restorative practice today. So just to give you an idea of what to expect in class today, it's going to be a lot of inversions, which is part of the cooling process in terms of the yoga uh, philosophy and tradition. So we'll be doing that kind of thing, slow moving, longer holds, meaning we won't do as many things, but when we do what we do, we'll stay in it a little bit longer. Um, and that will start it off with a gratitude meditation. I want to kind of set the stage because, in my view, when we kind of cultivate an attitude of gratitude, as they say, it sets the stage. It's like it has its own energy, its own real positivity, and I think it's a good way to begin a practice like this. With the peace of mind that I think gratitude brings with it. So I'd like you to close your eyes, sit up tall in a way that feels meditative to you, your meditative posture that you usually arrive at. And I'm going to encourage you to avoid the backrest if you're comfortable coming forward on your chair. So you're sitting tall and you feel like you're elevating your spine and holding yourself in that way, if that's comfortable for you. Let's turn our hands so our palms are open on our lap. And I want you to just find the mindfulness of your breath now. Just find the way your body moves when you start noticing your breath. You start the noticing by, how does my body move when I'm breathing? What kind of subtlety of movement in the body can I really experience? And see if you can cultivate the fullness of that breath awareness by staying with your awareness throughout its inhale and throughout its exhale. And once you feel the calming effect of breath awareness, I'm going to invite you to now bring to mind someone, something, some place, maybe a combination of those that always makes you feel grateful. It's just as easy to arrive at a place of gratitude when you bring that to mind, the people, the places, the things, you bring it to mind, and it's automatically creates this sense of gratitude. And then see if you can kind of step away from the event or the people or the places. Step away from that and just stay with the energy of gratitude. Stay with what it brought you. That you're noticing almost a felt bodily experience of the energy of gratitude. We use a term in yoga, lightness of being. I think it applies. I think that applies right now to our cultivation of gratitude as an energy. It creates a lightness of being. Stay with that cultivation of the energy till it feels like it is not only has permeated your whole body, but that it absolutely has encircled you. So it's like you're glowing. Can you imagine that? Imagine you're now kind of creating almost a glow that is gratitude's energy. And then know that you have now created and are immersed in a space that's wholly whole. It's true to your nature. So we'll weave in this energy of gratitude throughout our practice today. So you'll know when those words come up, when you hear the cue that we're maybe holding and kind of really feeling our way into a particular posture, then we hold it with the layer, adding that layer of gratitude's energy to our experience. Stay with me now as you just breathe in and out, lifting yourself tall so you feel like you have good posture. Hands open, or however you choose now to hold your hands. If the open palm still really suits you, stay with that. And I'm going to introduce one more term for you and for us to kind of use as part of our practice today. This yoga term is called sankalpa. What you hear from me most often is, let's set our intention. In a restorative practice like this, the yoga tradition borrows the word, and I shouldn't say borrows, but really uses intentionally, here I am layering on, the word sankalpa because it's more vivid. It's considered the desire of the heart. It's like your fundamental, basic desire within you. I landed on that for myself a long time ago. It doesn't always stay the same. I'm just saying, for people in different circumstances of their life, that sankalpa, that idea of that pervasive intentionality that just seems to be absolute for you at a particular time, can be, it can change over time because of circumstances. But for me, for a long time now, I've recognized that fundamentally my sankalpa is peace of mind. So I'm just offering you that greater version, an understanding of the setting of intention today that will use sankalpa to kind of bring it is more vivid. We kind of turned up the volume of what that would mean to you. Find that rhythm in your body again, the rhythm of your breath. Let's open the eyes now. We're going to stay right here because we're going to do a couple more breath practices before we get into the movement. So I'm going to stay right here near the camera, I guess, but staying here so that we can do a cooling breath. If you have this capacity to roll your tongue, if you can do that, use that formation of your mouth and the rolled tongue to breathe. So you're breathing in and out through your mouth, but through the tongue. Now, my experience is it's drying. It dries your mouth out, obviously. So do a couple breaths like that with the rolled tongue. I can best do it. I'm going to just say for me, inhaling through that rolled tongue, no way. I'll take the inhale through my nose and let the exhale come through the rolled tongue. I can do that. But then it's too drying. So then take the tip of your tongue and just push it right up against the roof of your mouth. And then just use that, just a gentle touch. So you're inhaling through your nose, and then you've got your tongue nestled into the roof of your mouth. Lips are parted. The exhale comes through your mouth, but you've just done something particular with your tongue. So I want you to alternate between those two that you sometimes employ. If you've got, not everybody can roll their tongue. If you have that capacity, that you roll your tongue and let the exhale come out of that, couple breaths, and then you shift. So letting the tongue just touch the roof of your mouth and finding your breath to go that way. So I'm going to say close your eyes so you can really focus on that. And we're just, trusting this yoga tradition that has called up this particular pranayam as a cooling practice. Let's just trust it. Let's see how it goes. Nice, calm breath in and out. You're just changing your mouth position whenever it feels right to do so. This is always your practice, your choice. So if making that adjustment in the mouth is too cumbersome, just seems to take your mind off of what you want it to be on, I'll trust that you'll be able to manage that just fine. You'll make your own adjustment. Now stay with me and make sure your breath comes all the way in and all the way out, and that you particularly feel the length of that exhale. That you're actually efforting that exhalation. You're not just allowing it, you're trying to extend it. One more breath like that. Let's open the eyes. I'll join you in the chair. You're going to want your block between your thighs. Now make sure your knees are right over your ankles and heels. You can see my camera isn't exactly where I want, so bear with me. I'm going to make a little adjustment here. Whoops. Turn that all the way. That's all right. Yeah, I want you to see my feet. So sit up tall, use your good posture, get your elbows back, and let that help to shape your shoulder blades a little bit. And let's begin with just some movements of the arms up and down, right out in front of us. So I'm going to try, whether they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, and I am an old dog, that not to wave my arms around so much. That would be kind of counterintuitive to this cooling practice. So we're just moving the arms just up and down. As little bend in the elbow as you can, and that you're feeling the vinyasa of this. Inhale when you lift up, exhale when you bring your arms down. So the pace, of course, is then determined by the length and speed of your breath. Let's come down and then take your left hand and kind of hold on to the chair. The right arm is going to lift up, so your thumb is pointing behind you, palm is facing the midline, and I want you to bend. Just take a bend and let your arm come as close to your head and your ear as you can. And we'll move as a flow with that. So we're just going to find the movement that suits us. So maybe you're hanging there for a breath or so, and then you come back up. So there's a flow to this. Find your breath in and out. Remember, a cooling breath will release the breath from the mouth. So if you're comfortable doing that, just see if you can use that practice. So it might take some discipline to choose that. Let's come all the way up and hold that. Pull that arm back a little bit, lift up your chest. A slight gaze lifts up our face toward the ceiling. No overdoing here. We're not trying to exaggerate our movement. Breathe in, breathe out. And we'll switch to the other side. So hold on to the chair. Other arm lifts up. And we'll do a side bend. Take note now that your pelvis is balanced. You feel like you're squared away in the chair, your hips are balanced. In other words, the body weight is distributed into sort of both sides of the buttocks. And find this as a flow, whatever feels like a flow for you. And remember to keep it just as a side bend. Don't be tempted to kind of angle yourself into a forward kind of movement. Let's just stretch the sides here. I've got my hand in a mitten hand. So again, if there's this intentionality about that, it gives more mindfulness to the movement. Last time, come all the way down. Arms are alongside the frame of the chair. Let's not hold on to the chair. Just leave your hands away from that and pull back and let your chest bone come forward. But I want you to do this gently. There's no exaggeration like I often ask you to do, is to really get into this back bend. Let's make it a little simpler, a little more easily accessed by this slight arch of the back. Hands are going to come to the knees when it's time to exhale, and you know what you're doing is we're coming into the cow version, the cat version of this vinyasa flow. So the roundness. And now let's just change my mind here. Let's hold on to the knees the whole time. So the movement just comes more like a tuck and a tilt of your pelvis. Sure, the spine is moving with it, but it's not as exaggerated as we typically do. What you feel in a more profound way is the tuck and tilt of your pelvis, sort of rocking your pelvis. I might try a little side view so you can see what I'm saying. The movement is a tuck and a tilt of the pelvis. While we're doing this, since we're going to do a few more repetitions, I want again to feel the glow of the energy of gratitude that surrounds you. Maybe you need to bring forth that memory or the people, place, thing that always helps you know gratitude in your body. But we step aside from the memory and we just feel the feeling of it as an energy. Last time, come back to neutral now, a neutral spine. Let's lift those arms up and down. Inhaling up and down. This time, when we come up with the hands, palms will come together overhead. No bend in the elbow if you can. Arms as close to the side of your head and not next to your ears as possible. Let's lift up and look up. Find your breath smooth itself out. Now let's sync up our inhale. Exhale, bow to your heart. Inhale, back up. And exhale, just straight down. Not the back, the backstroke that I often use. Not that one. So coming up and coming down. Beautiful. Let's take the block and tuck it underneath the chair. Take a little wider stance. Inversions, part of the cooling process. And so let's take a forward fold. I think I'll turn to the side a bit just so you have a visual if you need it. But I want you to bring yourself forward into your thighs. So the distance you've created between your legs, it's probably different than mine, but we're just finding our own fit. What's our best fit? So that perhaps you can stretch so far forward that your armpits now have laid into your knees. But do remember that you want your ankles and heels to line up with your knees. So whenever you're spreading your legs apart further, you got to bring your feet along with it. Don't just open up the knees. Just bring it along so your joints are still stacked. Hang your head like a rag doll. Try to surrender now. Let go. And let's use that as we breathe. Inhaling, just drawing in or receiving. And let the exhale tell you to let go. Inhale is telling us to receive. And the exhale is encouraging us to let go. Start to notice layer upon layer of more commitment to the letting go, that you're willing with each breath to let go a little more. Beautiful. Let's get one hand at a time to our thighs. Squeeze your elbows into your waist. Come up halfway. Lengthen through the spine so you feel that diagonal line of your back body. We're going to work the perineum here. So press your feet to the floor. I'm going to just say I'm not using quite the kind of pressure into my legs, into my thighs that I typically encourage. Instead, I'm really going to work those inner thighs, that inseam, pulling in. So you can feel your perineum kind of lift up from the chair seat. Hold it as long as you're able. Let go with that exhale that might come out from your mouth. So it's our own rhythm of movement, our own ability to hold and squeeze and tone. There's a softness about the face and the neck. Relax your shoulders. Put all your energy into toning the floor of the pelvis. When we assign value to it, that's why I always try to give us something. Why are we doing this? What's it about? What part of the body is benefiting from this? Because then we've got value attached to it. And so we're committed. We're much more able and willing to commit to it, embrace it as a practice, as something I do to take good care of my body. Even though it's sometimes not comfortable, but I know it's doing a world of good for the strength of my body. Let's try another forward fold so we can release the work of the perineum now and drape yourself back over your knees, or however it is you're finding your fold. Surrender the weight of your head. Keep your eyes open. The inhale gives you the sense of receiving. The exhale, letting go. One more full breath cycle like that. Hands will jump to the thighs again, bringing yourself up halfway. And let's reach back, get a hold of some part of the chair that's behind us. Stretch your chest forward. Feel how your shoulder blades are drawing toward each other. But you've got so much support here, holding onto the chair, feeling the length of your spine, little arch of the back a little bit, not too much. And then bring yourself up. Inhale comes straight up. Exhale goes straight down. Hold on to the chair with your left hand, right arm lifts up. Let's take that side bend. It's done as a flow. Just bend and hold, where you feel like you're just intentionally now creating space in between your ribs there. There's those intercostal muscles that intentionally now you're bringing your awareness there, and you're just trying to create more space. Let's come back to neutral. We're going to switch sides. Take your time, lift up. Remember, put your mitten hand on, or some intentionality about the way you're holding your hand. I'm still holding on to the chair. So side bends. Relax your mouth. No tension in the face or in the jaw. Find your breath. Feel the rhythm of it. Now, side bend holding. Now hold that bend. Arm is as close to your head and your ear. You can, noticing how your head is turned, how we keep our head in a neutral position. Breathe in, breathe out. Make sure you're balancing through your pelvis because obviously a side bend like this pulls you away from the side that you know, are stretching. So you're kind of keeping your seat balanced. Now go into that intercostal area. So your ribs feel like you're creating a little more space in there. Beautiful. Let's come back up and bring arms down to the side of the body, side of the chair. Now let's get a little twist going. So I want you to bring your legs together and just create a mermaid leg. You're just squeezing those legs together. Let's start by bringing our hands to our shoulders and just easy turns from one side to the other. Remember to use your mouth as a way to exhale and using that cooling practice. Maybe you've even, curled your tongue. Just pace this, move from side to side the way your body is agreeable to, where it just feels natural to you, that this is the speed of it. Now, the next time you have twisted toward your right, hold that and release your arms down alongside your chair's frame or kind of holding on to some part of your legs and maybe your thighs. And however, you can just kind of hold it there. But we're not overdoing. We just came to our twist, our body's natural ability to find this range of movement. And we're going to stay right there, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Maybe now is a good time to remember the cultivation of gratitude. Your spine is long and tall, so there's no forward movement. You're not leaning. You're very vertical with your spine, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Unwind just your head and then your shoulders and your arms. Let's come to the other side. I want you to just lift up, come all the way over. Squeeze your legs together. Find the verticality of your spine. Breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Just noticing your body's natural range of movement. We're not overdoing today. Easy breath in and out. Unwind now. The head comes out of the twist, then your shoulders and your arms, and we're going to take a wider angle. Heels in, toes out, forward fold. Now, this time I want you to get your arms way down in between your inner thighs. So your upper arms are nestled in between your inner thighs. So gentle compression. You're gently bringing your thighs into your arms, and you're just holding your ground, that your arms stay put. They're not going to collapse, but you're feeling that gentle compression in. And then notice that in your low back. When you squeeze your legs in like this, notice the sensation, whatever it might be, in your lumbar region. Remember, we're surrendering the weight of the head. So try not to look out toward the screen by any means. You don't need to lift yourself up. Look down and under. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. One more breath like that. Gentle compression of knees drawing into your arms. Now let's get one hand at a time to the thighs. Squeeze your elbows into your waist and bring yourself all the way up. Once again, we're bringing our hands to our shoulders, and we're going to just do some side stretches by just simply dipping down to bring elbow towards the outside of your knee or thigh. I want you to incorporate a twist, meaning you're going to come bringing the opposite elbow to the opposite side, however you want to. Find a little pattern with this. Find some way to kind of do both, where you do the side bends and the twisting action as part of the rhythm of your movement, staying true to your breath in and out, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Finding a little pattern here. So this is just keeping us sharp in terms of our mind-body connection. Crossing through that midline, bringing our right side and left side into a pattern of movement that really helps your brain in its highest level of functioning. So just introducing that, as simple as that might sound, like you got to be kidding, that can't be important. That midline crossing, very helpful for the health of your brain, that it's functioning well. In through the nose, out through the mouth, a pattern of movement. Nice and easy. Let's meet in the center and let's get a hold of our block. I want you to put the block on its high side, and you can always move it because it's our best guess how close to the chair it needs to be. We're going to just lean to a side bend here where it seems like we're just bringing those elbows down, but then release your hand to the block. Ear is facing your hand on the block, and the other arm is reaching up. Breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. Hold your hands in a particular way. Now I want you to start bringing your body weight up toward the ceiling. So the hand on the block is just touching it. It's not leaning into it at all. And then notice where you feel that in your body by shifting your body weight. So it feels like you're just hauling it up toward the ceiling. Where's the strength coming from? Start to notice that. Let's let go of the block and come all the way up, just straight on up and straight on down. Get hold of that block and move it to the other side. Hands come to the shoulders. We've got our little wings here, our chicken wings. And now bend, that side bend. Lift that one elbow up toward the ceiling. You're holding your head just so. Now let's release the hand to the block and release the other hand toward the ceiling. It's a side bend, so you're really feeling that way. Now start to lift up so you're no longer putting hardly any pressure on the block, but deepen the breath. Inhale through the nose, exhale out of your mouth. Nice and easy. A long breath in, even longer breath out. And then I want you to notice now the strength of your body. Let's release our hand from the block and bring our arms straight on up and straight on down. Straight up, look up, and down. Good. Let's bring our feet closer together so we can maybe bring our hands to our waist and then boot ourselves up and out of the chair. So let's try a couple of those where we've come from seated to standing. Nice, good balance. And all the way up. I'm going to locate my chair in a way that I've got the backrest available to me for support. So I've turned it to the side for me. So take a moment now to just find your mountain pose. Palms face forward. There's a soft bend of the knee. Close your eyes if you're comfortable with that. And breathe in a way that feels like your whole body is breathing. You have to use your imagination, but it's absolutely happening with every breath we take. It's just that we're not ever aware of it. We're very seldom aware of that. But now in our yoga practice, we've introduced the awareness of this full body experience. We're going to do, if we let your eyes flutter open now, a little sun salutation. And that's why I've got the chair here, so that you've got it for support. Some of you may never touch the chair. So here's what it looks like. I want you to inhale up and exhale, soften those knees, let your hands glide down your legs so you're in a standing forward fold. Folding inversion is part of the cooling process. So the hinge is at your hips. The hip socket is the hinge. There's no hinging in the middle of your back. Now, bring your hands to your shins so you can lift up halfway. We can use the shins or the top of the, above the knees, whichever gives you the best support to come into that half lift. I think I'm going to give you that side view of it. And then we fold forward again. That's a full forward fold. Eyes stay open. When we come up, the knees bend and we come up straight on. Our arms are straight forward. Palms come together overhead. And we bring our palms together. We'll find this as a vinyasa. I'll help you with that. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, soften the knees so you can fold all the way forward. Standing forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Hands are at your shins or up above your knees. Exhale, fold. Soften the knees. Now inhale, lift yourself all the way up. Hold it as you exhale. Inhale, palms together overhead. Exhale at your heart. One more time. Inhale up. Soften the knees. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Soften the knees. All the way up as you inhale. Hold it as you exhale. Inhale, palms together. Exhale at the heart. Let's come to our mountain pose. So just release your arms alongside your hips and just find that nice, strong, tall, stable mountain. Now let's do another side bend. So we've got the high side of the chair's backrest. Lift up and stretch in that direction. Here's what you're going to play with. How far away from that chair gives you the stretch you're looking for? And how far do you want your feet apart? This is done as a flow. It's a side bend only. And let's see if we can move toward a full extension to the side. Palm up, thumb pointing back, and then up and overhead. So again, how close you are to the chair is going to be something you're going to figure out what feels good. Now we've got our feet parallel. Notice that. Let's come back with the arm down. Now, instead of feet parallel, I want you to take the foot that's closest to the chair, turn your foot toward that. Now try it. This gives us a little window into the experience of Trikonasana, or the triangle pose. Let's hold that now. Lift up your arm. Think about how we did this in the chair when there was a block under our hand. Now we're doing it just with our arms extended. I'm finding it kind of tricky to figure out how to put my hands. See if you can find the position of your hands that feels right. Let that top arm kind of lift you up. Palms will come together. I'm straightening my feet so they're parallel to each other again. Let's take our inhale, exhale through the mouth as we bow to our heart. Inhale back up and exhale down. I'm going to reposition here a little bit so we can use the same kind of format. Starting with our side bends. So hand on the chair, Feet are parallel. How far apart your feet are, how far you are from the chair, that will vary depending on what your body is interested in today. So try that side bend only, and doing it as a flow. I've got my arm fully extended. It's a little more movement in the arm than what we've been doing so far today. And turning your head in such a way that you can feel the neutrality of that. You're really taking good care of the weight of your head, and so your neck is happy. Let's fold and hold. So a little bend and a hold. And we'll come back up. Now let's take it into the Trikonasana. So we're going to take that foot that's closest to the chair and point your toes toward that. So again, the distance between your feet might vary. If you're pretty practiced with the Trikonasana, you might take a bigger step. Hand on the chair, lift up, and then we're just going to see, just like we did when we had the block to use when we were doing this as a seated position, finding that full extension, turning your head just so, feeling that stretch of the inner thigh. In a standing leg, feels like that back leg is the source of stability in this posture, a major source of stability. Let's breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Let your upper arm help you come up, lift you up. Palms will come together overhead. Let's take our inhale, exhale at the heart. I squared my feet away so they're parallel again. Inhaling up, we're going to take a forward fold, exhaling down. The distance between your feet is up to you. It will be more challenging as a balance and a strength if your feet are close together. Wider gives you a wider berth. It's a little easier to do. So you choose how you're going to challenge yourself or not. This is a restorative practice after all. Let your head hang like a rag doll. Find that inhale and exhale. Inhale is receiving. Exhale is letting go. Let's bring our hands to our shins for a half lift. Soften the knees quite a bit. Let your arms carry you all the way up, all the way up. And see if now you can bring yourself together. Palms come together, feet come together. So you're just upright all together into this kind of like a tiny little space here. Inhale with me. Exhale, bow at your heart. Inhale up and exhale all the way down. Let's bring our hands to the back of our chair. Turning toward that, we can find that L-shaped stretch. So I want you to start backing away. Offer softness of the knee as you pull your buttocks back. Arms, of course, are extended right past your ears. Keep your head very neutral. And pulling your chin in towards your throat. Set it up. I want you to bring more body weight into the toes instead of all into the heels. Be aware that you're stretching yourself forward enough, so chest bringing some body weight into the toes. Feel the difference? Full breath in and out. Inhale through your nose, exhale out of your mouth. Long breath in, even longer breath out. Inhale is receiving, exhale is letting go. One more breath like that. Let's start walking toward the chair and come up to our mountain pose. You can be facing the chair. Yeah, I turn, just to kind of get a better visual, but you could just be facing the chair just like you were. Let's just let our body adjust from the inversions. So our blood pressure starts to reset itself very quickly. Let's try a balancing pose now. We're going to go into our tree pose. So the leg that's near the chair is the standing leg. It is your tree's trunk. It is the root of the tree. Let's lift our other heel up so that we can now rotate the foot. So the sole of the foot is pressing into the inner ankle of your tree trunk. So you want to have an external rotation of your other leg. And now lift up. This is the danger in this pose, is that we sort of sink into it. We sort of lean toward the chair. I want you to bring yourself upright. Think that, oh, I feel that. I feel what she's cautioning me about. So bring yourself upright. Try to lift up through your pelvis. Bring yourself up so you're not pushing yourself in toward that chair. That's there for support. The arms, of course, are the branches of the tree, and we can express it any way we want. Find a drishti. I want you to stare at something in your room, low to the ground, not too high up. It's going to give you more stability. And we have not landed in our tree, folks, until we found the full breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. A long breath in and a longer breath out. Nice and tall, like a tree would be, strong, rooted, not going anywhere. Excellent. Now, kind of step by step, very mindfully, we come out of that, and I want you to kind of shake your legs out. I'm going to move the support to the other side. I'll bet you could just walk over there. So we root through the leg that's near the chair. We lift the heel up on the other leg so that we can bring that sole of the foot into the inner part of the ankle. And remember, lift up. Arms can express the branches of the tree, or you can continue to hold on to the chair the whole time and use your free arm to create the tree branch. That's perfectly fine. Find your drishti. Lift up. Don't collapse. Strong leg. That standing leg is trying to get taller and taller. Find your breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Nicely done. Arms come down, feet come back to the floor. We're going to shake that out a little bit. One more good stretch here before we come into Shavasana. Let's get our hands on the back of that chair and stretch back. Bring body weight into the fullness of your feet, not just the heels. Try to spread that your whole surface of your feet, maybe even more so the toes than the heels. Tuck your chin in towards your throat. Straighten your legs a little bit more. But we're just taking it a lot easier than typically. We're trying to just see what's available, what's within easy reach. Inhale as receiving what you need. Exhale is letting go of what you don't. Inhale, receive through the nose. Exhale out of the mouth, all the way out. Let's start walking toward the chair. Stand in your mountain pose. Let your body adjust. As we do so, cultivate gratitude as a particular energy you can feel. Surround yourself now. Create that space, that energetic space for you in your Shavasana now that's just filled with the peace of gratitude. Start making our way to Shavasana now. So perhaps you're grabbing a second chair to support your legs. This Shavasana is going to be every bit the full 10 minutes, so we can give ourselves the restorative experience that I intended for today's class. So really set yourself up with maybe more support than you normally do, that you're going to allow yourself time to get what you need. So you've got lots of support to relax into. As you situate yourself, I'm just going to float some thoughts for you to just simmer in. Those qualities of the connection to the, or alignment to the soul. We have a certain pathway of recognizing that we're kind of in this alignment with the soul. And that's the feeling of flow, the feeling of spaciousness, light, love, and stillness. We're bringing ourselves into stillness right now. So see if you can discipline yourself to get so situated that you know you could just stay put. You're going to invite this stillness in so that you're not going to wiggle around much. You're going to see if you can find a comfortable way to sit or lay down, and that you're going to hold that, kind of honoring the stillness aspect. Like, what would it be like if I stayed in my shavasana and I held myself in stillness? What might we reap as a reward of that? Relax your shoulders. I encourage you always to go into that part of your body where you typically hold tension. We all seem to have that. So relaxing where you need to, but with all the tenderness and kindness that you have. Not judgment, just kindness, releasing, relaxing. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. Let your chair support you. That there's a steadiness of the chair that you're really aware of. Like, I don't have to do a thing. I've got this full support and steadiness that's completely holding me. And I can relax into that. A full breath in and an even fuller or longer breath out. Let's use the mantra deep and slow. Inhale deep, exhale slow. Slow and long exhalation out of your mouth if that's comfortable. I'm going to step off camera. I'm still here. The meditative reading that I've chosen for today comes from The Promise of a New Day, which is a book of daily meditations published by Hazelden. It begins with a quote from a fellow by the name of Dr. William Glasser. If we try too hard to force others to live in our world because we think it is the real world, we are doomed to disappointment. The desire to control other people, all situations, and each outcome to benefit ourselves is a human compulsion and one destined to foster frustration. Our need to control others is addicting, but our condition is not hopeless. Letting go is a learned behavior. Like any habit, practice will make it a natural response. Freedom to fully respond to any experience can only be attained when we have sacrificed the outcome to whatever the bigger picture dictates. To be enthusiastically, creatively alive means responding to the pulse of the moment, which means following the unself-conscious inner urging rather than the self-protecting and consciously manipulative ego. Our burdens are lightened each time we act free from the weight of the ego. Letting go of others will lift my own spirit high today. Let's introduce movement into the body now. Come forward on your chair, get your feet back to the floor. Start moving gently, quietly, bringing yourself into right alignment, a meditative, aligned body. So we've got our spine very upright. Sigh it out. Ah. Ah. Beautiful. Let's close our class now as we bring palms together up and overhead. Look up. Inhale here. Exhale as we bow to our own heart. Inhale up and exhale all the way out so we can share this beautiful, peaceful, grateful energy with our community. Palms come together at the heart. We bow to ourselves. We bow to one another. Namaste, my friends. Thanks for joining me.